By now, you must have seen Avengers Infinity War. If you haven't, then I seriously don't know what to tell you. What are you doing with your life? Seriously, drop what you're doing and go watch it right now. I'm pretty sure it's even on Netflix. Then, when you're done, go to the nearest movie theater and watch Avengers Endgame because you're a whole 2 Avengers movies behind. Sheesh. If you have seen the movie, then you know exactly what happened. Thanos gets his hand on the Infinity Gauntlet and eliminates half of all life in the universe. Actually, if we're being specific, he technically gets his left hand in the Infinity Gauntlet, but you probably knew what we meant. Either way, he used all the Infinity Stones in the Infinity Gauntlet to snap away 50% of living things. In this video, we're going to start by taking a look at what exactly an Infinity Stone is and how they work. Then we'll discuss this Thanos character and why he'd do such a heinous thing. Finally, we'll come up with some debatably better options he could have gone with that didn't involve a mass elimination of beings. You're watching The Binger, and this is how Thanos should have used the Infinity Stones. What's an Infinity Stone? An Infinity Stone is essentially a really powerful gem. There's 6 of them, and they're supposed to be scattered throughout the universe. The reason they're kept separately is because, when united and used in conjunction with one another, their powers can be astronomical. Like, we're talking about wiping out half of existence with the snap of your fingers levels of power. In the words of Kanye West, no man should have all that power. According to the Collector in Guardians of the Galaxy, these 6 singularities existed before the creation of the universe. Then the Big Bang turned them into 6 separate stones and scattered them throughout the universe. Basically, these things are really old and chock full of mystic powers. What do Infinity Stones do? As with most mystic relics that outdate the universe, these 6 stones have some pretty vague and cryptic abilities. They're also not all stones, per se. One is actually more of a sludge-like substance, but for argument's sake, let's just keep calling them stones. One important thing you should know about these bad boys is that they're so powerful you can't even hold one in your bare hands without succumbing to the overwhelming power. Seriously, look at what happened to Red Skull. So keep out of reach from children and also anyone mortal. Let's take a closer look at each one as they have a name and distinct characteristics. There's the Space Stone, also known as the Tesseract when hidden inside its translucent blue cube, which gives the user power over space. Anybody in possession of this stone can create portals that allow for easy jumping from one part of the universe to another. We first see this stone in Captain America: The First Avenger, as the evil organization Hydra uses it to power their weapons during World War II. This is the very same stone that Loki uses in the first Avengers movie to open up a portal from outer space, resulting in the Battle of New York. By Infinity War, it ends up in the hands of Thanos. Then there's the Mind Stone, which Loki so carefully added to his scepter. For those unfamiliar with what a scepter is, it's a long and pointy stick that bad guys like to carry around to feel important. It was also necessary in order for Loki to wield the power of the stone, because holding it in hand would have destroyed him. This baby allows the user to control the minds of others. Thanos gifts it to the God of Mischief, who then uses it to his advantage during the original Avengers film. The Avengers end up getting their hands on it and using it to create Vision in Avengers Age of Ultron. By Infinity War, it also ends up in the hands of Thanos. The Reality Stone, also known as Ether, is more of a liquid than a stone, but gets to be part of the group anyway. It can be used to manipulate matter. It was supposed to be kept safely with the Collector, but Thanos has little trouble taking it for himself in Infinity War. Are you noticing a trend about where these things end up? The Power Stone gives its holder a heck ton of energy. We're not talking 2 coffees and 3 Red Bulls, let's open up a Shopify store kind of energy. We mean the sort of energy that can destroy an entire planet. We actually don't even see Thanos acquire this stone in Infinity War. The movie just starts and it's implied that he already has it. The Time Stone, also referred to as the Eye of Agamotto, gives the power to rewind or fast forward time. It's the thing Doctor Strange used to trap that evil Dormammu in a frustrating time loop and stopped him from destroying Earth. Doctor Strange guards this thing with his life, even wearing it around his neck at all times. That is, until Infinity War, where Strange has to hand it over to Thanos. Why does he have to? Well, that would take an entire separate video to explain. He just does, okay? Finally, there's the Soul Stone. This elusive ruby dwells on Vormir, where Red Skull guards it and ushers people seeking to obtain it to their destiny. Wow, that was ominous and vague, wasn't it? With good reason, because this is the only stone that comes with a clause. In order for someone to obtain it, they must sacrifice someone they love. It's your classic soul for a soul type scenario. Didn't Frasier have an episode about that too? Either way, you can probably guess who ends up with this thing. Yep, everyone's least favorite purple stepdad. What's with the glove? As mentioned before, no one can just hold all of the Infinity Stones and survive. Therefore, Thanos had a special glove or gauntlet made in order to properly harness all of the Infinity Stones' powers. It was created by Eitri, a dwarf who specializes in these types of items. He's the same guy who made Thor's hammer Mjolnir and who eventually makes Thor's next weapon, Stormbreaker. I wonder if Thor referred Thanos. Nah, probably not. The gauntlet is forged using the heart of a dying star, making it powerful enough to harness all the Infinity Stones at once without completely obliterating the person attempting to wear it. Well, to an extent at least. These things are so awesome that no matter who's wearing the gauntlet and no matter what the ask, it's going to have an effect on the wearer. Thanos needs this glove so that he can harness all the stones and wipe out half of life in the universe. Thanos' master plan. Thanos was from a planet called Titan. He reluctantly watched his homeland deteriorate over time from a sparkling, prosperous mecca to a desolate wasteland. This isn't just the case on Titan either. Around all of the universe, people are struggling to survive on the amount of resources available. In order to restore balance, Thanos believed that he had to eliminate half of all life so that the other half could continue on and prosper. In his own mind, he was doing the right thing. In fact, he believed that he was being merciful and doing this for the greater good. By taking on the burden of being the one who eliminates half of all known life, he thought he'd essentially be saving the rest. His solution was brutal but fair. No playing favorites, just 50% of living things eliminated at random. In order to do so, he needed to acquire all of the Infinity Stones. That way, he'd simply have to snap his fingers and the unspeakable task would be complete. At first, he enlists the help of Loki and Ronan the Accuser to do his bidding for him. When they both fail to deliver the stones they were supposed to, and after Ultron fails to eliminate the Avengers, Thanos declares, "Fine, I'll do it myself." I don't blame his frustration. I wouldn't want to go on a universe-wide scavenger hunt for 6 tiny stones either. But if you want something done properly, you should always do it yourself. It doesn't take Thanos long before he nabs up all of them and completes his fancy glove. Gauntlet. When you really think about it, his heart might have even been in the right place, but his psychotic solution was actually unnecessary. While Thanos believes that he's taking responsibility by fixing a problem that nobody is addressing, he could have gone about things a lot differently. He expected the world to be grateful to him for bearing the burden of such a difficult task and decision, but that was hardly the case. While we don't necessarily see the positives that came from the snap in Infinity War, we do see the carnage that it brought to Earth and how devastating it was. Thanos wanted everyone to go to bed with full bellies, not empty parking lots full of abandoned cars and grief counseling sessions. So what else could he have done to fix the issue without being a complete and utter sociopath? More resources. If the issue was that fact that there wasn't enough resources and too many mouths to feed, then why eliminate half of the mouths when you could just double the resources? Seems like a pretty logical fix that doesn't include wiping out half of humanity. After all, having all of the Infinity Stones makes the owner more or less omnipotent. Thanos could quite literally control everything, so why did he feel it necessary to eliminate trillions? Oh, what's that? Because he's a legitimate crazy person? Oh, right. The movie would have gone pretty differently if Thanos' intention was to simply provide more for everyone. I think Tony Stark would have gotten on board with that. Sure, one person wielding infinite power probably isn't a good thing, but if he's using it for good, then why the heck not? Doubling up on everything seems a lot more feasible than eliminating half. He could have added more livable planets, more crops. After all, he does have a knack for gardening, farming, and there would have been plenty to go around for everyone. He also appears to be someone who cares about his legacy, so it would stand to reason that he'd rather be remembered as the guy who literally saved everyone as opposed to the guy who thought he was doing the right thing but actually exterminating trillions of lives. Good people versus bad people. While we're on the subject, why did the snap have to be randomized? I get what he was going for. By making it completely random, that's the most fair solution. This way, nobody has an unfair advantage. Rich, poor, young, old, and everyone in between is given equal odds to survive, so therefore he can't be blamed or called a hypocrite. But when you're yielding infinite power and talking about wiping out half of existence, why draw the line there? Why worry about what's fair when making such a grand, unfair decision like eliminating people without their consent? At that point, Thanos may as well have played judge and juror as well. By picking and choosing who get to survive, he could have guaranteed prosperity throughout the universe. Kind of like the heaven and hell system where good people go to one place and bad people go to another, Thanos could have used his powers to eliminate just the bad apples. By getting rid of the worst ones, he'd be setting up life to carry on as the best version possible. You're telling me that the guy who decided to snap away half of all life thought it would be over the line to choose which people to survive and which don't? I mean, once you're at that point, just go full-fledged God mode and make the decision more specific. Eliminate the Avengers. As previously mentioned approximately 300 times, Thanos had the power to basically do whatever he wanted. He used his power to snap his fingers and eliminate half of all known life at random. But he also knows there's a whole group of superheroes who hate him and want him to fail, so why didn't he just get rid of all of them in the process? I get that he was trying to be fair by keeping the decimation to a random draw, but that's just poor villain planning. You know these guys are gonna try and stop you. You even got to assume that they're not going to take the defeat line down and will probably come back to try and seek some form of revenge. Why would you leave that door open? Especially when you have the ability to ensure they're all gone just by snapping your fingers. This seems like a major oversight by Thanos. It's just lazy villain work is what it is. You don't go relax on a farm while there's still a whole team of heroes, albeit half of what they used to have, out there plotting against you. You've gotta know that that's gonna come back and bite you in the butt. Thanos deserved the outcome he got in Endgame simply because he could have easily avoided things by adding a handful of extra individuals to the decimated list. Those are just some options, but there are so many more ways Thanos could have helped the universe without destroying trillions. In your opinion, how should he have used the Infinity Stones? Let us know in the comment section down below what you would have done with that kind of power. Also, whether you're wearing an Infinity Gauntlet or not, use that hand of yours to hit that thumbs up button as well as the subscribe icon to stay up to date with all our video releases. Until next time, you've been watching The Binger.